Okay. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about the slash and burn. Why it's not the best. Alright, so slash and burn. When we burn the weeds. So in Indonesia, we still burn the weeds because it's so wet. It's so wet that we can slash and burn without risk of fire, or without much risk of fire at all, because it's so wet. Alright, so you have a bunch of weeds. You cut them down because they're not good for the other plants, right? The weeds are actually a poison. Alright, let me do this. So, yeah, the weeds. The weeds are toxic. The trash is toxic. So you cut down all the weeds. You got the pisong, but then you gotta do something with it, right? And instead of just hoeing it into some piles, what you're doing, you're putting the weed into a pile and you're burning it, right? You're burning it you're burning it because it acts as a fertilizer. So the weeds are actually a fertilizer. And the other method, we have some weeds, right? We have some weeds there. So the weeds are a fertilizer, but the weeds are still toxic. So when you make the fire, it makes it more digestible to the other plants and turns it into nitrogen. So the other plants can eat the ash better and faster than they eat the weeds. So the plants can eat the ash. But they actually eat the weed pile too. They eat the weed pile. So you're actually putting more work into setting the fire. And then the problem is when you make the fire, you're breathing in the smoke, the toxic smoke. So, yeah, little baby, right? Your little baby is breathing the toxic smoke. And we're breathing the toxic smoke, which isn't good. It's better to do the big thing, right? It's better it's better to focus on the big thing and get more fair plants in. Focus on the big thing and get more fair plants in. When you burn the weeds, it actually makes the soil worse. It makes it into a sludge. It makes the soil sludgy, which isn't good for the soil. And it doesn't make it easier to work with. It makes it harder to work with. So, and the other thing is when you make the piles, you get soil. So, and you can use the soil in pots. So what you actually want to do is you want to garden more. You want to garden laggy, you want to garden more. You want to get more fair plants in. That's the only way to truly improve your garden and to improve your soil. Fight the weeds. Don't burn them. You don't want to breathe the smoke. Just see it through. Get more fair plants in. Get more beneficent plants in. Your good fair plants, they're a fertilizer for your other plants. So you want to do the big thing. You don't want to be futzing around too much. We want to go up. It's not good for people to breathe the toxic smoke from the weeds and also from the trash. It's really bad for you. So if you're growing trees, you can have if you're not working on a little garden, you're growing trees, you can grow a lot of little things. Some lettuce. You want to make things easier on yourself, not harder. So let's have good things. Then once you get the two layer, and then you can work on another layer. You know, let's do it. Let's get the big thing going. Let's not do the little things. Quit futzing around.